Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start the nacelles. As you know, when you look at the sides of the nacelles, the inner part is a light blue that's illuminated, and the outer parts are black. They have the black panels. What I would suggest when you do that is don't do it. Try to do it by hand. If you do that, it's not going to come out, and it's very difficult because I've tried to do others by hand, and it's just not good. You do yourself a huge favor and just scotch tape the areas and use either the spray gun or the brush. And you'll just this little extra step, you'll really be happy with the results and it'll look a lot better. Okay, so I went ahead and I painted the outside of the nacelles, the black parts. I used the tape, and it may seem like a small thing and really not that significant, but it'll really, really, really make you happier with the results if you just use the tape. The lines will be a lot straighter, um, and you won't get as aggravated because it'll come out perfect. And yes, you need to do the arms for the nacelles as well, because they have the panels that are on the inside and the outside. I know it's got the black in the middle as well, but for now I'm focusing on the panels. And if you go ahead and tape them off and then paint them, wait for the paint to dry and then take them off, you'll be very pleased with the results. And they're going to go on to the secondary hull. So let's give those a paint. Okay, so I went ahead, I taped them, and I finished painting the panels. I painted the fronts of the nacelles too. But the panels are drying. And when the paint is dry, do yourself a favor and don't just rip the paint off, the tape off, because it could take some of the paint with it. So just kind of run a razor along the outline very lightly, and then gingerly pull the tape off. And when the paint's dry, I'll show you guys what it looks like. Okay, so just like you did for the inside, the outside of the nacelles, the inside need to be taped and painted as well, but these are going to be light blue. These are illuminated, but on the model kit itself, it's not illuminated. So I'm going to tape these and paint them. Well, I got an update on using the tape on the painting of the nacelles and the arms for the nacelles. And, one of the reasons I make these videos is to open up vintage models so you guys don't have to, but it's also to show you steps along the way and things that if I make mistakes you can avoid. And this was one of the mistakes. When I put the tape on, I didn't take into account that because the plastic, I don't know if you can see that, it's etched in the Aztec kite type of pattern. Well, it's all like that, and it has little channels. So even though I taped the surface, the bottom, when I put a heavy coat, ran under the tape and into the little channels. So that's a difficult thing to do. So what I probably should have done was I used a brush and I used a heavy coat on it. I probably should have used the spray brush for that and put light coats on and build it up gradually so it wouldn't do that. So now I got to figure out how I'm going to fix that. I don't know if I'm going to try to scrape it with a knife. If not, I'm going to have to see if I can just cover over it with white paint. Hope it doesn't show. But it's just one of those things that you learn as you go along, and hopefully you guys will learn from my mistake and not have it come out this way. Okay, so I went ahead and I glued the pylons and ran the wires up through them. And I'm going to put the first half of the nacelle on. And yeah, do the nacelles. It's coming along. Like I said, building from the bottom up is a little different, but she's getting there. Okay, so in the spirit of building it from the bottom up, you can see you can only really put half the nacelle together at a time because you have to run the wire into the back and then it'll be glued. And I'm going to go ahead and do that for the other side too. Okay, so the half of the nacelles are up and pylons are up, and she's starting to take that familiar Enterprise A shape. Put the other sides of the the nacelles on and run the lights and then show you guys when it's finished. Okay, so I went and I put the other side of the nacelles on, and she's starting to come together, and she's starting to look like the Enterprise. Let me put the lights on for you. I'll show you the lights in the nacelles. The ones in the nacelles actually blink, as you can see. It's amongst the blinking lights. I wish I had more room. I would have actually put lights in the front that remain on all the time, but I had to paint them on. So let me go ahead and put the ones that I put in. So it's coming along. It's coming along nicely. And the nacelle parts, the basics are done. And you can see the blinking lights there. I can go ahead and I can start working on the saucer section, the primary hull.